Hey everyone! So in this video I'll cover how you use our vinyl cutter here at our Makerspace from start to finish. So first we'll talk about the machine itself. It's a bit of an older model, so you can't print in colors as you can with some of the newer vinyl cutters. You can only cut silhouettes. So if you want something in multiple colors, you'll have to use different pieces of vinyl in different colors and then cut in that and align it afterwards to make your design in multiple colors. So the way you tell the difference between the vinyls that goes on walls and the vinyl that goes on textiles is the vinyl that goes on walls has a paper back with some kind of pattern, whilst the vinyl that goes on the textiles has a shiny side and a matte side, and that's kind of how you tell the difference. Now let's go back to the machine and I'll show you how to load it and then put in your design in CutStudio. First, we have to turn on the machine. Do that just by using the power button here, and it's going to calibrate, and then you load in your vinyl. You can either load in a piece or a whole roll. Just put it in here, and you need to cover the sensor up here, and then there's these small rollers. You have to align them so they are on the vinyl, and you also need to make sure that they're within these white squares. Then you lock it with the hinge up here by moving it forward. And then on the machine itself, you can move up and down to select either roll or a piece. And then you press enter. And when you load on the material, we suggest that you put it all the way to the left so that it doesn't come in at a wrong angle. Now I'll show you how to set up your design in CutStudio on the computer. In here, before we do anything else, we'll just make sure that we have our media size defined. So we loaded on a piece. So first we go into cutting, then we go into change, then we go into change media size. Then instead of typing in manually what our media width and length is, we'll just press get from machine. Now we have our width and length, and we can press OK. And press OK, and then press cancel. Now we have our media size defined. And the reason why we do this is the first thing is if you did it after you've put in something you could cut, you might press OK. And if you do that, it's going to start cutting immediately. That's not what we want. We first want to set up our canvas, and then we put in the stuff we want to cut. Now, as an example, I have a picture of a cat that I'm gonna be cutting. So what I do is I take my picture, load it in, and then I can start adding this here. So this is just an image, so a JPEG or PNG that is dragged into the software. Now, you can't put in vector files. There is a plugin for Illustrator where you can take your vectorized files and insert from there into CutStudio. We'll make a short on how to use that, but for now, just save your stuff as a PNG in a high resolution and then load it in here. That's also why it's more advisable to create text and numbers in here by using the text tool in here and then setting up your prints that way. With the image now, I can select the image. If I right-click and say Image Outline, the software will try to find the outline of the dark shape in my image. You can change the alignment image density here. This will kind of determine what is considered part of the model. So if you see a lot of errors, you can try to manipulate this line here. I usually keep it as is and press Extract Contour Lines, and then press OK. Now we can see the contour lines that the software has found, and you'll also notice that they aren't perfect. So if we zoom in, I can go in and manipulate this that the software has made by clicking one of the points. Then I get these that I can drag, and then I can make my model look better and more accurate to what was in the image. This process takes a long time with especially text, where you have a lot of curves that can come out bad, as we saw that curve. So make sure to do your text in here if you're going to use this machine. Or see if you can get the Illustrator plugin for CutStudio to work. Now we can zoom out, use the select tool, select the image from behind and delete it. And now we have our contour. You can, if you have selected the image or your contour line,
you can go up into Object and press on Move to Origin. This will move it all the way down to the 0 point, so we make use of as much of the material as possible. Now you can also go into Size and Shape and change the size of your cut. First, I want to keep aspect ratio, and then let's say I want to make it 5 centimeters wide. Then I will say 50 millimeters, and then it's going to scale it down and go into Object again, and then move to Origin. If I was cutting vinyl for textile, then I would also need to mirror my print. The reason that we mirror our print is because when we are going to apply it to the textile, we are going to flip it to put it onto the textile. That means that it needs to be pre-flipped so that when we do our flip, it's the correct orientation. The way you do it is select the whole thing you're going to cut, then go into Object and press Mirror. Now let's just assume I'm going to do that, so I'll just do that here. And then when I'm ready to cut, I press Cutting and then press OK.
Now the machine is done cutting. I can go up to it. I can release the vinyl and pull it out. And I can just pull, depending on if it's a roll or a piece, you pull down. And this piece is long enough so that I can attach it again. Then I take a knife and cut the part of the vinyl free. And now I have my cat here, where I'll remove all the excess vinyl from it. Now that we've removed all the excess vinyl, we will apply some transfer paper, which will be used to transfer the vinyl to a surface. Right, so that was how to use our vinyl cutter from start to finish. In future videos, we'll also show you how to do the whole application process of applying it to walls, but also how you apply it to textiles. So that was it. Happy making.